In all these four things, your people are very, very important. How you motivate your people, how you take them together, how you reward them because you are making extra buck. So are you sharing with them? Are you exciting them? Okay, so whole team is with you, and then it becomes not your objective, but it becomes a organization's objective.
Pharma industry has evolved very much, okay, in last those years, like last 50 years, and then making the brand successful, position that brand in that successful list, I think that also changed a lot. So like from your experience, I just want to know what will be the first ingredient if you want if someone wants to make his pharma brand, or some brand manager wants that brand to be successful.
Yeah, I think what I would say is slightly more intangible. Okay, first of all, nothing has changed. Things have not changed. It's only our perspectives have changed. Okay, and priorities have changed. Okay, so सबसे पहली जो चीज चाहिए that is the mindset. Okay, and if I had to give a little parallel to it, the brand building is like nurturing a baby. So your relation with the brand has to be like mother and child. So first is that. Okay, कि आपका passion कितना है और आपका जो है एक mindset कैसा है. That's the first requirement which you have to have. Second thing, now we come to the science of it. ओके, तो ये तो ठीक है, अभी हो गया, लेकिन उसके बाद फिर करूं क्या मैं? ओके, तो साइंस के अंदर क्या है कि वन शुड अंडरस्टैंड द बेसिक पर्पस ऑफ एनी बिजनेस. किसी भी बिजनेस का जो बेसिक पर्पस है वो है टू ब्रिंग सस्टेनेबल ग्रोथ इन प्रॉफिट्स. यू सी, every business is meant for profit. There should be a year on year growth on profits, and you should do in a way that is sustainable. You understand? So therefore, अगर वो करना है तो I made a kind of thing acronym here, that how to bring that, and that brings it, three things. One is aspiration, that you should think big. Like a mother is thinking big about a child, doesn't think that चलो इसको कुछ भी बना देंगे. ठीक है? B is branding, as you say, brand building. I have to think big about your business, brand building, and C is build capabilities around it. You yourself cannot do it. You have to have a team to carry your thoughts. You have to have infrastructure to carry your thoughts. You should be able to convince your superiors also that this is what I am thinking and these are resources I need. Okay, so that capabilities around to build is also, that's called the ABC of the basic business. So once you have that, and then I think the people start believing in you, okay, and people start supporting you, whatever level they are, and then you start your journey of brand building.
Totally agree with your point that first I think the mindset that
Yep,
yeah, I really wanted, I really aspire to make this brand this much of thing. So
correct.
like how was that period, like how companies was recognizing the brand management team previously, okay, and what was the golden days strategy, I must say, like golden days strategy that you wanted, that I think brand manager should follow nowadays also, okay, like you can take example of any brand that you have built, like Nucoxia or anything.
Sure. See, first is, as I said, the brand management has to win the confidence of the supporters, in support in the sense from your top management first. Okay, the people who need to encourage and give you resources and even support your failures. And that happens, two things. So number one, they should believe that you're going to stay in the organization for a long time. You're a long-term player. Okay, that's a point number one. Okay, and point number two is that you have small success stories, small things, which are very small, maybe, which I think are visible. I mean, you say that people don't know, people know everything. Okay, believe me, all wise businessmen, they watch their people very closely, even without their knowing. Okay, that and they can spot the diamonds, they can spot the right people in that. So those stories, they are with you. Okay, that means here is a guy who what he says he does. Okay, that's one. So uske upar se they can depend on that. Then comes your that ABC, as I said, that how big you can think. Sometimes you can take a risk of thinking big. So what if it doesn't happen? Suppose your target is, let's say, 2 crores. Okay, you think of, that I will do a particular brand 5 crores, example sake. So if it doesn't happen, nobody's going to eat you up. But it happens, it's your story. Okay, so thinking big is not something, as long as you are not burning the resources, you understand, in that proportion, the people are scared of that. So therefore, you should have a kind of a mindset of earn and spend, cut into small pieces in a quarter, in a year, etc., and make a small this thing, and then earn something extra and spend something extra. People will not mind, people will be happy, and once they build confidence in you, then they will come on, and you go and invest this money, I'm ready to do that. So that is the thing which will and it's not different even today also. That today the thing is, people are a bit impatient probably. I first of all have very high respect for youngsters, because they are very brilliant, very highly educated. Plus, they have the kind of a latest technology with them to support them. Okay. But only thing is that they are very impatient also. They want to become millionaires overnight. Okay. And therefore, they think that changing companies is a quicker way of doing it, etc., which is not true. I think you must give, they say 1,000 days is the minimum thing. Anything which needs to establish even relationship with each other. Okay. You and me met today. Doesn't mean you're going to be friends for sure, unless we, stay for a while. So therefore, that's the first thing, is that people should have the stability. People should have the small, anecdotal things. They should create small stories. And then, they can think of a big story which everybody will support. Next, you talked about the brand. I think, again, it's a long thing. But very quickly, I like to tell you that, again, the methodology. First, I told you is the mindset, because I talked about intangibles. And then is the tangible part. Tangible part may, again, there is a small acronym which I use. Okay, it's simple that first you should have a set a goal, that is think big. And the goal should be a smart goal, as we keep reading. I'm not going to details of what is a smart goal, but it should be a little bigger than what you normally people would do, so that it excites everyone. See, I was hearing a podcast, and wherein the CEO said, that today youngsters do not have excitement in the companies to stay in one company. They see every company the same. Okay, 10%, 15% growth everywhere. But some company says that I'm going to double my sale in the next 3 years, for example. Okay, or I'm going to be a billionaire company, a $1 billion company. So that excitement itself, makes people stay for longer. Okay, let me wait till that time at least. So excitement has to be created, and that a brand manager, for example, should create an excitement around that. I want to make this brand. Say in those days context, in 2004, we used to talk about 10 crores. Today, I think people should talk about maybe 50 crores or 25 crores. It looks very, very impossible thing. But yes, if it was possible 10 crores in 2004, in 24, I think it should be possible for 50 crores also. So they should think on those lines. Now, you can say competition increase, all those things one would say. But then, okay, I mean, whatever number you think. So one should think big. This has to be, of course, a realistic kind of a goal. It should not be a foolish goal. Okay, lot of back work has to be done on this. A lot of research has to be done on this. What the market size? What do I do differently, etc. That's a point number one. Having set a goal, which is, I would say, realistic, but at the same time challenging, stretch goal as we call it. Okay, and then the next step is that you need to plan. Now, today, I don't know, because I'm not too much in touch with the current industry, but I think you would be knowing that if you ask any product manager, when did you start planning for a new product launch? Okay.
Right.
And you will find that, okay, 3 months later, I'm going to launch the product, or 4 months. No. See, we started launching, in case you talk about Nucoxia, I think we started work on this around 8 months before the launch. Okay, I remember that in November 2003 was a IOCON in Chennai, and April the launch was scheduled for the next year, 2004. Okay, and we had, I was not a stall, we didn't reveal the brand name, but we did research on roughly 2,000 doctors through a small chits, that, okay, the questions that we put in and the answers we got it, that gave us a totally new confidence that a COX-2 inhibitor, how we can position in acute therapy rather than it's a chronic therapy product. Okay, and the second thing is how we can price it nearly 10 rupees in those days. These two things came out of that research, and the confidence which got built in ourselves, our teams, was very different than a normal person would have done. In those days, Rofecoxy was available at 2 rupees 50 paisa. Okay, even this pricing was challenged by many people that, how is somebody going to buy? Okay, but since we had done research and the first COX-2 inhibitor positioned in acute therapy, I remember 120 milligram we launched as a Nucoxia, and we said Nucoxia as a pain eraser. So position against diclofenac and those things. So that excited people, and then things worked, so that was the second thing. That's a planning. So many other things. I mean, this is just one part, is how you start planning, what kind of market research you do, so that it helps you in a proper positioning, differentiation, proper pricing, proper packaging sometimes also, all those things helps you. Then is the next thing is after that you need to review the situation. Once you launch the product, you need to very frequently review the external environment and internal happening. Okay, that's very, very critical. And you need to do course corrections. You can't say, no, I've said it, so it's final now. Now, for example, in case of Nucoxia, as we said, 2 years later, what happened? Okay, Cox, uh, two Coxibs were withdrawn from the market, international market. That's Valdecoxib and Rofecoxib. Okay, it was a big doom for the Coxib. They say nothing will stay here, etc. But again, we didn't give up. We studied the other Coxib, which stayed like Celecoxib in the US market. Why it's staying? Why it not been withdrawn? Okay, went to the science of it, very deep science of it, discussed with some pharmacologists, and we are told that they have some similarity, unlike Rofecoxib and Valdecoxib, in terms of structure and all those things. And therefore, the kind of side effect we are talking about would be less in that. So anyway, so we had the trust in the science and continued our efforts on that. Okay, and the things work for us. So that is the research, the review that you keep on doing regularly, apart from your strategy implementation review, where other people are finding difficulties, etc., etc. And the last is, of course, your. I would say earlier, I would say celebrate your success. Now I would say reset your goals. If you're doing something good, you can reset your goals to the forward looking. And if suppose somehow you are failing, you're missing, you can reset your goal at a slightly lesser ones also. So don't give up. So therefore, GPRS is very, very important. And then, of course, in all these four things, your people are very, very important. How you motivate your people, how you take them together, how you reward them, because you are making extra buck. So are you sharing with them? Are you exciting them? Okay, so whole team is with you, and then it becomes not your objective, but it becomes a organization's objective. I remember even the supply chain people would come up to me, sir, 10 crore ho raha hai na aapka? Nahi ho raha to kuch bataiye, what can we do? And just for the sake of people, you should know, we planned for 10 crore, which was ambitious at those days. We ended at 17 crores. And today, I don't know the internal numbers, but I'm told that somewhere in the IQVIA, etc., I see around 200 mark, somewhere crores mark of this brand. So point is that there's a science behind it. There is a mindset behind it. There's a lot of preparation and dedication required for this product. And then the continuity, the next generations of brand management, I'm sure they would have the same trust. They would have learned from the past and they would have continued doing it. And even today, maybe they can take it further. Yeah.
Agree with you, sir. And I think b- the main that I can conclude is first, I think align your goal with the organization goal as well, right?
Organization. Very important. Very, very
Yeah.
important.
So, like, suppose I'm a marketeer, okay, I'm working as a B2B marketeer. I think if I will be not clear about the organization goal, that if my company want to spend more on sales or the brand, so first I should be clear that what's the company goal, right?
Correct.
And
Correct.
then
Correct.
I need to align me as well on the same basis that my company is doing good. Now let's build the reputation. So if they are into that branding phase, let's give more focus towards the brand so that at the end we all are aligned in the same manner that
Absolutely.
synergistically approach will work for your end. So I think let's make it a little bit more fun, okay, this podcast. So I will just ask you some
Yeah.
of the rapid fire questions, okay. First question start with like the weirdest product name, okay, you have come across in pharma.
No, that's a risky question. I have so many, but I will not name because I believe that this will be heard by people. But let me
Yeah.
tell you very quickly what are the varieties of risk, the names which are weird name, or maybe the names. And number one is the names which are what they call it very over promising. Okay, something start with zero, something start with no, nil. Giving a promise of 100% cure, I think is not a good idea. Okay, that is over promising and maybe under delivering. It should be the other way around. So this kind of brands are very risky. The other brands are very risky where the patient, should not be, should have hesitation in even asking the product. Okay, and imagine a girl asking, something, give me a bottle of P something, or that was P safe, P gap, P bad. I mean, imagine, that 10 people listening, will she ever go and ask? Or even the brands like, for the brands of Tadalafil or Sildenafil, if it's very, very clear, like Viagra was very popular and many people had the name like Gra. Okay, and so anybody will understand, oh my God, okay. Kind of. So, no, those names, you have to be very sensitive to those names, what kind of names you have. And the third is the names which are clashing with the serious medicines.
Right.
Now, here I don't hesitate, even a mistake of my own, or maybe whether I can't say because we were not the first, okay, doing that. But imagine there's a brand called Roxid, Roxid with the roxythromycin, and there's a brand of Roxin, which is Altroxin. So imagine by mistake if a person with a cough and cold takes Altroxin, which is a thyroid drug, okay, and the vice versa. So these are the things I think one should be very, very careful. There are tools available. Actually, tools should be used for this, okay, rather than, I like it, so therefore I go for it. So I think that there are many, many brand names, very, very funny brand names, very embarrassing brand names. So I think people know what I'm talking, but I think one should avoid that. One should apply the patient-centric approach to this case. Yeah.
If if not pharma, which industry would you have joined?
Now, retrospectively thinking, maybe what I would love to do if I was not in pharma, I think I would have been a teacher, as I said earlier, and I would have contributed to the knowledge of people. So I would have been a teacher, I think.
Great, sir. In your MR days, what was your most creative excuse for missing a target? Or have you heard of anything during your leadership?
Okay, see, let me tell you. First of all, I was very fortunate. I don't remember having missed my targets.
Great.
Okay, I always did 130, 140%. I used to laugh at my bosses who would give me targets. Okay, so as MR days. Later on, when I became boss, it was a different story. Okay, so that was point number one. The excuses, let me tell you, very interesting. In my previous company, Nicholas, there was a guy called David May who was a regional head. He had written a small booklet on Indian mythology and through that management. And there I could sneak a page which says, don't be so sure. And there were 10 excuses written down, which reps will always tell you, but as a manager, don't listen to them.
Oh.
I
Anything
wish I could
funny
remember
one?
all.
Any funny one?
I think funny means anything, the doctors don't give time. There's a lot of competition. The prices of the other companies are high, and those kinds of things. Very basic things, by fine time, the price, if I have to copy the price of everybody, if I have to copy the study of everybody, then why I'm there? So basically, I'm unique. So I should not be bothered about price because it's my brand. Today, you go and buy maybe any brand from Starbucks. You don't ask, the coffee is available at other place at 100 rupees, and why should they pay 290 or 390 nowadays? So you don't ask those questions. When you ask buy a bottle of single malt, you don't ask a question. The other single malt is selling cheaper because a brand you buy. So therefore, those excuses which are basically not related to your trust, your this thing. I mean, they are the ones very common. So there were 10 ones. I wish I could lay hands some other time. Maybe I will let you know their old story. But thing is, people will say, but don't be so sure.
Agree. What's one global market trend that made you say, why didn't we think of this sooner?
Okay. I think one thing which Indian industry probably has got into now, but too late, is a patient-centric approach.
Hmm.
Today, with a lot of application, is that I keep hearing a lot of things are happening, but still, are companies devoting reasonable time or enough time on patient education, patient centricity, whether the medicine is being taken by the patient or not, compliance. I know there are a lot of startups have come up. I was listening to one of your podcast where somebody has started, some pharma llama or something. So somebody else is thinking about it, but not the pharma companies are thinking about it. Okay, I take an antihypertensive medicine, for example, myself, and then there, I forget sometimes. So I wish somebody could write on that, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday on the strip itself, so that I know if it's a Tuesday, I miss it. So I know it. So small things, but patient is not in the top of the mind. Even today, from what I see, I think still it's a doctor prescription or more than that, the traders.
Agree, sir. So thank you so much, sir, for the podcast. I think
Welcome, welcome.
if you want to share some parting thoughts with the leaders or the newcomers that you want that they should be addressed, I think please address that. Yeah.
Sure, I only would say like what you are hearing me and trying to know from me are various stories. You understand? As we call it war stories, some people don't like it, but some people want to learn from them. Okay, but seeing they're important because at this stage of my life or career, the stories are very helpful for me, and but if stories are not my stories, If the story is read in the books, nobody will believe it. Everybody else can read. Now, when I used to go into my IM classes, I would say anything which you can Google, okay, I will not go into. Don't expect from me. You understand? Or
Right.
you see in your
Right.
books. So I don't read your books. I don't Google. So I am just telling you my life stories from my own experiences. So therefore, look for that and ask me questions on that. So having said that, I think people, my advice to youngsters is this is your time to create stories. So that when you
Agree.
reach my stage to tell stories, you're not short of stories.
Agree.
Whatever you like, whatever your passion is, create stories today so that you can tell them tomorrow. No,
Nice.
Lokesh, I want to say 30 seconds. First of all, not thank you very much, but I think I appreciate. I want to tell the audience that it's my first podcast. First of all, I have interviewed many things, but podcast is the first. Appreciate that around 7 days ago you found me through some source. Okay, that's one. And you really pushed me. Today afternoon I have a flight, and you somehow pushed me in. So therefore I like people like this. These are the people will do something in life. So the message to youngster is that be perseverant, have persistence on thing and don't care about who are you talking about, etc. Everybody will give you time if you really ask for it. Okay, so therefore, it's my pleasure to talk to you. And as I said, since my passion is to build youngsters and the future of tomorrow, the leaders of tomorrow, I'm not saying that I've done something to you, but I'm very impressed. The way you are prepared, your questions were very intelligent questions. I would say answers I don't know, but keep it up, and I assure you, I'm available for anything when you feel I can be of any help. Most welcome, and wish you the very best.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Thank you. Thank you for the great answer. Thank you.